Regarding neighbor Afghanistan, there have been serious accusations recently in an interview that the Afghan intelligence chief has given to Al Jazeera as well, that the Pakistanis have done nothing, that they've been dragging their feet in the so-called war on terror. How would you react to that?
Actually, I think maybe there's a misunderstanding. I met Mr. Karzai in Sharm el Sheikh. I met Mr. Karzai in Sri Lanka. I briefly met him in Beijing during Chinese Olympic Games. And very recently, President Asif Ali Zardari met Mr. Karzai, and he has given a statement that can we work with Pakistan. And maybe there had been the previous misunderstanding that has been dispelled.
But does Mr. Karzai have the support of the Afghan people? If you ask the Afghan people, they will tell you he's the mayor of Kabul. Are you doing business with a man who is in control of his own country?
Actually, it's not a matter of personality, it's a matter of principles. We are against extremism and terrorism. What little support he can extend to us, we'll welcome him.
There have been allegations time and again that Osama bin Laden is using Pakistan's tribal areas, that his lieutenant, Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri, is also sometimes using the refuge of the mountains of the tribal areas. What do you know about that?
I disagree with you. This is not true. What I personally feel, maybe he's dead by now.
But the Americans are saying that maybe, in fact, they're saying that they're pretty sure that another attack on the mainland USA will be planned in the tribal territories of Pakistan. How would you react to that?
That's their perception, but at the same time, whatever we are doing in the tribal areas and fighting against militants, no government would have done that. And everybody is a witness the way we are fighting there with the militants. And I've already mentioned about it.
There have been attempts by the government to rein in the ISI. There have been demands by the foreign media as well that the ISI has rogue elements, that once you have already tried to bring them under control, but that it hasn't worked so far. Would you like to say something about that?
Actually, there was a wrong perception. Whatever the comments about the ISI by the foreign countries, that's none of their jobs to interfere in our internal matters. As far as ISI is concerned, it's a pioneer. It's an important institution of Pakistan, and they have done a good job. At the same time, those who criticizes, they have worked a lot together with the ISI of Pakistan. I'm hinting the United States. But as far as my decision was concerned, that's a misreported. That my decision was that for extremism and terrorism, there should be a greater cooperation between the Ministry of Interior and the ISI. But that was taken as if we have put the ISI under the control of Minister Advisor Interior. But that was a wrong perception. But with the changes you have seen, there are few changes have been made, and somebody else has been made the ISI chief.
Regarding President Musharraf, there were moves to impeach him, forcing him to resign. Then the charges that people wanted to bring against him were dropped. Was there some sort of a deal between your government and President Musharraf?
Certainly, we only deal with people. We don't deal with individuals. Our party has sacrificed a lot. They had paid a heavy price to get into this position. It was not easy to be sitting here like a Prime Minister of Pakistan today. We have passed through the most difficult period. We sacrificed for this and came to this position. We can't come to this position just with compromise.
But again, the opposition will say to you that the issue of the Chief Justice was not amicably resolved, that it is still a bone of contention between what was once your major coalition partner. Has there been any thought given to how to resolve this particular issue?
We respect the opposition, and I think in the parliamentary form of government, without opposition, there's no business of doing politics. Therefore, whatever the opposition is saying, we respect their point of view, but at the same time, we'll be resolving everything according to the constitution and law.
There's been a major reshuffle within the military. Many new generals have taken over their positions. The president is not in the country. Who took that decision as far as the reshuffle was concerned?
Actually, we have to follow the book. We have to go according to the Constitution of Pakistan. According to the Constitution, the president, with the consultation of the Prime Minister, they get the lieutenant generals to be promoted. And I did consult the president before giving this sanction for the promotion of the lieutenant generals.
Was this with the consent of the Chief of Army Staff, or?
Certainly, as far as the Army is concerned, the proposals from the Chief of the Army Staff, and naturally it has to be with the President's, with the consultation of the Prime Minister, they make the appointments.
Regarding the President's powers, you are the Prime Minister of the country. This is a country which has got its parliament after almost 10 years, the first democratically elected government. But there are questions as far as the controversial powers of the President are concerned, given the 17th Amendment. When is he likely to relinquish those powers, and what powers is he likely to keep?
Actually, this is an important question as far as my party is concerned. And we have got our own manifesto of the party, and so are the manifesto of the other political parties as well. We have struggled for the rights of the parliament and the supremacy of the parliament, and even in the Charter of Democracy, when Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto signed with Mr. Nawaz Sharif Saab in London, that we want, because as a party, we did not accept the 17th Amendment when it was passed. And you recall that Pakistan People's Party was the party who opposed, and they did not accept the 17th Amendment. And certainly we want the restoration of the original 73 Constitution, and that's our principal stand, and so is the stand of the President.
But that would also mean the supremacy of the Prime Minister as the real executive of the state. There are questions being raised as to who's running the country.
There's no confusion. There's no confusion at all. I'm the head of the government. He's the head of the state. And as the head of the government, I'm the chief executive, and I have to take decisions. And therefore, what the powers are with the president, he has to exercise his own powers.
But again, coming back to those powers, under normal circumstances, the president would be a titular head who would be subservient to Parliament. When are we likely to see that happen?
He had recently addressed the joint sitting, and he said, "I'll be the first president of this country who will give his powers himself." And because he wants to be under as a subservient to the Parliament, and because he's a part of the Parliament, and National Assembly, Senate, and the President, when they get together, it becomes a Parliament. Therefore, he is working for the supremacy of Parliament, and he wants to be subservient under the Parliament, and therefore there's no doubt about it. And he said the political parties and the heads of the political parties or the parliamentary groups can constitute a committee and to work out how to get these amendments done. And he had already on the floor of the House he said that.
Your talks with India have centered around the contentious issue of the Siachen Glacier and also the Sir Creek issue. Hardly much headway on that. Are you confident that you'll be able to reach an agreement with the Indians on those two issues?
The dialogue is on. Let's see.